Welcome back to Live at the Roxy, guys. Very special show today because not only have you been asking for her, but I've been wanting her here for a very long time. I miss seeing her face next to me at Screen Junkies, but you can still see her everywhere on El Rey. It's Vanessa Gritton in the house.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
Are you kidding? Thank you for being here. You're the gritty one. I always comment on your amazing blue hair, which, by the way, is still perfectly blue in quarantine.
I have no idea how my hair girl set me up for success. I haven't had to re-dye it.
What do you mean?
I haven't had to touch it up one time.
Since March?
Since she dyed it. Since she dyed it in March.
I'm not trying to be a bitch, but are you fucking kidding?
Right? I've never experienced somebody setting me up for true success like this.
I'm not trying to be rude, but what the fuck? What are you even talking about?
I wash it all the time. It's just stayed blue.
How did she? I mean, what?
She's like pure magic. Either that or my hair has just decided that it's just this is what it's supposed to be and it won't do anything different.
It's actually just growing this color now.
It's just growing this color.
I cannot believe that because as somebody who frequently colors her hair, and often blonde, but also often purple, pink, blue, whatever, 2 weeks, maybe I get 2 weeks before it doesn't look that color anymore. We are at the end of June. It looks like you dyed your hair yesterday.
She's incredible. She did it right in the middle of March, right before quarantine, and
wow, dude, it looks why isn't it green yet? Because isn't that
That's what I've been expecting and looking for. I've been looking to look like old Greg, that seaweedy green color that it gets. Not even for a second. I haven't even seen a bottle dye.
You know what? On the picture of the thumbnail that I put on here of you, your hair is green and it's a badass green, not a chlorine green.
That's back when I had it green and I was broccoli.
Wait.
I look like broccoli.
That's just actually, again, the furthest thing from the truth I've ever heard in my life. Do you know what that picture looks like? It looks like sex. It does not look like broccoli. I mean, and also for some reason, you and I are both staring in the same direction. Here, we'll have a little fun. I'll throw it back up for a second. We're just looking in the same direction. What are we looking at? And what's happening over there that we want to see whatever's taking place. We're both making eyes at something.
Whatever it is, it's desire.
Yeah. It is a time in which COVID does not exist. It's a time we are looking for, we're looking that way. We see equality. We see a vaccine. We see, I don't know, maybe wealth and fame.
Fame, stability.
It's all of those things.
Yep.
Gritty, let me ask you this. What right now is a day in the life for you? Because I feel like as far as quarantine things go, you seem to be crushing it right now. I'm sure there's a lot of non-crushing it things that feel like are a mess, but you're waking up and what's a normal day for you?
Waking up to one of two cats. They don't like each other, so we keep them in separate rooms. So it's I have two families.
So what do you do? Pick one per night?
Well, I have a senior one that lives in the bedroom with her two haunted house animatronics. She likes them. I think she thinks they're either mother and father or gods.
We will be discussing that sentence momentarily, but continue. Yes.
So she lives in the bedroom with the haunted house animatronics. Wake up, check on Kyle, give her special formulated kidney medication. I just found out the proprietary waffle brand that Disneyland uses, so I've started trying to perfect the Disneyland waffle every morning for breakfast.
Are you obsessed with the Disney waffle?
Yes. I think it could be childhood nostalgia because part of my childhood was spent in Anaheim, and I was obsessed with them. But also,
can I tell you, I don't know even what you're talking about. I don't even know what the Disney waffle is.
So they look like Mickey.
Okay.
And they're a perfect Belgian waffle. They're super fluffy on the inside and crunchy on the outside.
How do they look like Mickey and they're not a pancake? How do you make a waffle into have ears?
They have proprietary presses.
And you have one?
Waffle. No, I have just like a regular one, but I found the mix that they use.
And it's a store-bought mix?
Yeah, it's a store-bought mix, but it's like the proprietary one that like restaurants and theme parks use. I think I just want to feel like I went somewhere.
Am I allowed to ask you what it is, or like, can you not answer that?
Wait, let me see. Oh no, my phone died. It's like you can find it if
Did
you
you
go
just
to
make that up?
I swear to God, no, look. It literally
Oh,
died.
no, let me
Wait,
tell you this very important information that will change your lives. Oh, my phone's dead. Nope,
let me
sorry.
see.
None of you guys
I'm
get it.
literally going to Amazon right now just to prove it.
No,
Because
I
I've been
believe you.
ordering a bunch of it.
And is it working?
It's amazing. It's the best waffle mix I've ever used in my entire life, and I want everyone's lives to be changed by it.
Wait, while you're saying this, can I say that I believe we just got one of the most aggressive comments we've ever gotten ever on this show, ever. And I just want to pull this up to show how aggressive.
Oh my God.
Luke Skywalker, enjoy hair while you have it. It's like,
Okay.
I mean, is that a threat, or is that like
Are you taking my hair?
And then the next comment, why do males lose their hair sooner than females? I don't understand. Whatever's happening in your personal life, Luke, I'm very sorry. However, what I will say is, trust me, it more than evens out. And by that, I mean, doesn't even out. Why, if you ever want to start a sentence with, why do males blank sooner than females? I don't understand. Trust me, we have 5,000 things that men get before us. So like I would
Strong hair is just one of them.
I would for sure take losing my hair over like getting paid less or not getting hired or all the stuff. So just saying, just throwing
like
that out there. Just
going
like
for a walk with headphones.
Yep. Wait, did you find the name of it?
Golden malted waffle.
Golden malted or melted?
Malted.
Malted waffle. Golden malted waffle. Huh. How did you find this?
I was going through a thread of like, because since I missed being outside, I wanted to try and like recreate theme park foods or like proprietary restaurant things that I like missed. And I've got like time to cook again, and I've forgotten how much I love cooking. So a lot of it has been spent trying to like recreate the feeling of being outside. And so there are certain threads where people will like come up with the proprietary like mixes or recipes for like a lot of like cherished, beloved, like long time recipes. And one of them was people trying to figure out like what Disney used in their waffles and pancakes, because there's something about them where they just look like cartoon breakfast foods, like super fluffy or golden. And that was the one that I found that like most theme parks were using. And it like makes it just feels like a special breakfast when I suddenly have time to do breakfast.
I need their caramel apple one. Can I get that?
That's another one to hunt for, because their caramel apples are perfect. They don't rip your teeth out like other ones do.
Insane. I mean, they're insane, but I feel like I would need to invest in a machine, and also broke. So not doing that. We didn't make it past breakfast for you. So we know that we know one of your cats, we know the kidney meds, we know we're making waffles. Then what? What's it looking like next?
And then feed the other cat. She's a one-eyed cat from Thailand. I love her, and she's a menace.
I have further questions on that.
She got a story.
Yeah, I mean, what?
So
I love that, but what?
Right. My boyfriend was a professional Muay Thai fighter in Thailand for a little bit, and he found her while he was over there, and she was just this like little one-eyed angel. And he brought her over stateside because he couldn't like bear to be away from her. And she's just this perfect little menace that can somehow get on like every surface of the house. Like because she was like a Thai street cat. So she has this incredible climbing ability to just come at me from anywhere at any point. She's real precious, but just like full of energy and a total menace, and desperately wants to be friends with the other cat.
But the other cat does not want.
My old lady's a jerk. Oh, she's old and she doesn't want to mess with anyone. But yeah, and then I'll usually just like, I'll either get to like writing or like catching up on like media that I feel like, because right now has been like a really good time to catch up on all of those movies that I somehow haven't seen.
Anything good?
So I have been roasted most of my life for not having had seen The Godfather.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. That deserves roasting.
And finally, I had the time.
But is there a
I
but?
liked it. I
Okay,
liked
okay.
it. But I also realized that I actually had seen part of it and I had only seen Godfather Part 3 before that. So that was what I thought it was.
Okay, well, okay. So you did your duty for
Yep.
God and country.
Did it for God and Country.
What is the expression that I just said? Where the fuck does that come from?
I don't know, but I went with it like it's a thing.
Is it a thing? I feel like I've heard that before. Like I've done my duty for God and country. Did I make that up?
I mean,
Also, right now, I'm not in the mood to do any of my duties for God or country. Like I
nope.
need nope. Like it's all got to be for friends, family, and me. Sorry to the people out there for country. Can't for country right now. Just for the movement. Okay, so an interesting side tangent she just went on. Continue. So you're trying to catch up on some movies and stuff. And
Catching up on movie media.
are you going out at all right now yet? Have you done any restaurant going? Have you done any now that things are opening? Are you planning on doing any movie going?
No movies, no restaurants, just because my immune system isn't that great and my boyfriend has asthma, so we're like playing it extra careful. But we do have like a patio that we're like open to doing like social distanced mask on hangs for. We have been like finding out ways to like recreate some of these feelings, like specifically movies. We both were like such go into the movie kids, video store kids. So we've been like doing this thing where we'll like make each other a double feature. Like I'll suggest a movie and then he'll find out a really good pairing to go with it. And it kind of feels like the old like double feature feeling. Oh, and we're gonna do the drive-ins soon since drive-ins are coming back in a big way.
That's exciting. Drive-ins will be really fun, I think. Go
I
drive-in.
miss them a bunch. I miss being able to just like sneak in a car full of people on the pricing of one drive-in ticket along with a pizza. My mom was very good at taking whatever she had to pay at the movies to like the full extent of the way.
Yeah, we for sure had like those Ziploc bags of popcorn, candy, things going in, but like had to hide them in our pants. That sounds weirder than it is, but like, they started checking purses
Yeah.
and stuff.
They checked purses. I worked at a movie theater where they would even like try and check strollers, but they were insane.
That feels
AMC.
wrong. Like, why are you checking my stroller?
I know.
Not into it. I think that drive-throughs are such a solution to what is about to be a massive problem. I mean, like a massive, massive problem. What's not worth getting COVID over? Going to the movies. Like it's just not. I mean, it's just what might be worth getting COVID over? Going to a protest. That's like if we've got to do some things, then we've got to fucking do them. But other things, it's like I'm not really sure that me sitting next at an AMC theater where they don't even believe that you should be wearing masks and have to be convinced by the public that you should be, and getting COVID over seeing something is like totally legit. Just not that into it.
Especially in AMC, where having had worked at one, first of all, the projection quality, not that great. But like the sheer amount of AMCs I've gone to where they don't even really care about like the movie going experience. Like there's certain movie theaters where it's like they really do truly care about like how you experience watching a movie, right down to like like not just like quality, but actually caring about whether or not people aren't like talking or have their phones out or just being like hella disruptive. And an AMC has never really like cared about that experience. I remember when I went to go see Birds of Prey and my entire road was so loud the entire time, like commenting on the movie the entire time, where it's like, you're not MS3K. I don't want
go away
to hear it. This is not what I wanted.
Simmer down completely. I feel that. And I feel like ArcLight does a pretty good job of caring. And that's why a lot of people, especially out here, a lot of our friends have shifted to going to ArcLight. But also even them, like sometimes I get pretty pissed at them too, because they create this atmosphere in which they care. However, like if you leave to go to the bathroom and then you come back in and they grill you for 15 minutes about like being late to the movie, or how do we know you were in there, or I don't remember seeing
I have
you.
the bladder of a bird.
It's like, I have to get back in and this conversation sucks. What are you doing? Please let me back in. Questions coming in from the chat that I want to get to, and I will get to those in the Patreon and with Streamlabs and in the super chat. But before we do, can you tell me about animatronics in your house? Because like, what's happening?
Yeah. So
just what? I mean, what?
What's going on? So my boyfriend and I both are huge horror dorks. We've like both written for Fangoria. It's both our like big backgrounds, and moving in together, I knew we were going to like combine a lot of our like spooky decor. I just didn't truly realize how much he outnumbered me on that point. Like literally over there, if I could pick up my entire camera and move it, we have like a little plastic skeleton hanging on the wall, and that's just in this room, which is the office, which is supposed to be like the grown-up-y one. But
your background looks very grown up.
It's an illusion. It's like,
what do you
it's just a tapestry.
Oh well, it looks cool.
It's just a fabric tapestry that I can roll up.
It looks like space mixed with what are those rocks?
Geodes.
When you cut them in half and they've got the things in them.
The little geodes. And I liked it because it looked like a geode, but also like it hides how much of our house is like skeletons. In our bedroom, we have like this huge werewolf animatronic that is taller than I am. And in the kitchen, we actually have a zombie one facing outside the kitchen. So if you walk on our patio, it just looks like someone's staring at you from outside. Didn't realize that when we set it up.
Amazing. Great.
Like, yeah, it's just Halloween all the time. I mean, it's just Halloween all the time here.
But you both are into it, so that's so cool. I adore that. Thank you for letting us into your spooky relationship.
Thank you.
Must see more at some point. Need pictures. Need house tour. Please get on that ASAP.
Big time, because we finally like have it looking. It's very like cute and domesticated, but it's like, oh look, there's like lilies on that vase on the table, and then they just got a jack-o'-lantern all the time.
Well, you know what? You're just prepping for October every day.
Exactly.
You're the October living place. Let's get to some of these comments. Larry Lease, always our first super chat of the day. Hit that like button. Cases are spiking in Texas, so I doubt I'm going back to work. Will get to focus on my own writing. Well, that's a great positive way of thinking about it. I'm glad that you're going to be able to focus on your writing. I think it's great to do something positive during this time. Cases are spiking in California too. However, we did talk on the show yesterday about the fact that there's been no spike since the protests, and kind of the reasoning why behind that, which is interesting because the more people that were going out in protests, the more people were staying home to not be protesting. So like numbers kind of leveled out.
And then everyone that was out, like everyone I saw was following protocols. Everyone kept like 6 feet apart, masks on. Everyone had hand sanitizer.
Yeah, doing it right. So that's been kind of interesting. Morse Code Z says, the music got my attention today. Hey all, what, the music at the beginning of the show? Maybe that's what you're talking about. Or maybe you just mean like the music of your mind, because same, whatever. Larry Lease, we love you, Roxy. Thank you. Noah Denman, hey, Roxy. Hey, Vanessa. Thanks for being here.
Thank
you. You're welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Thank all of you guys for being here and for being such rock stars. Appreciate it. And I know that you guys have questions for Gritty, so let me get to some of these that are going on in the Patreon, patreon.com/Roxy Stryer. Samir Tesfai says, what's your favorite horror movie of all time and the most iconic horror character? Freddy Krueger is it for me. That's for you, Gritty.
Okay. Ugh. Picking my favorite one is tough.
Sound.
I know, because like picking my favorite one is tough because there's so many that I love for so many different reasons. It's interesting because like horror is one of the few genres that can exist on like such a spectrum of like terrible B-movie ridiculousness that you love watching for nostalgia to like crazy elevated high concept. God, what is my favorite?
Okay. It's a basic answer, and I know it's a basic answer, but I don't care.
It can always change too. Like, don't hold her to this. Whatever her favorite is can always be a different favorite when a different favorite comes.
Exactly. But I personally have so much deep love and affection for the first Halloween movie. In general, I just really love John Carpenter, and I love like every piece of John Carpenter media. You know what? Changing my answer. Changing my answer immediately because
I said she was allowed to. I didn't know it was going to happen that quickly, but yep.
Because like I was like, I love John Carpenter, and I was like, wait, it's right there. It's The Thing, because I've always said that the perfect movie doesn't exist, except the perfect movie is The Thing.
So it's The Thing.
It's The Thing. It's a flawless, perfect movie from beginning to end, and like just the sheer amount of like tension and mistrust that exists, but also it's like one of my favorite pieces of practical effects, and it speaks to like why practical effects are so important in horror, because it has this like everlasting quality that a lot of things don't get to have. Because like as much as I like try not to dump on CGI, there's a lot of bad CGI, but we don't feel that way about a lot of like these classic pieces of practical effects that had like genuine effort and thought into creature design, and
except for the fact that I just rewatched Swamp Thing, and oof, I think they could have used a little CGI. I think that they needed some CGI,
just a touch,
just a little bit. But what about the iconic horror character?
Iconic horror characters, So I like go through all of them because there's some that like even just a corner of them you can recognize, like your Freddy Kruegers and your Jason Voorhees. But I think the one that everyone has tried to do or imitate or be at some point is Michael Myers, because he's not the first slasher and not even like the first of his kind that we've seen. Like I think the first point of view slasher that we saw, even though we didn't really see the killer the entire movie, was Black Christmas. But in terms of like the posture and the stance and like everything that made him terrifying, everyone has tried to do a Michael Myers, whether it be like the jumpsuit, the mask, or the weapon itself. Everyone has attempted a Michael Myers. Freddy exists in his own right because he's basically a comedian. Like everyone else, like is quiet and intimidating, and they're just like hulking presences. But like, I love Freddy, but I feel like he's in a category of like entirely his own.
I think that that's fair. And Samir already said Freddy, so it's cool to say Mike Myers. Let's see. Chris Martinez said, "Hey, Roxy and Vanessa, hope you're both having a great day. Vanessa, since you're a comedian, have you been able to find moments of comedy in your life that get you through this difficult time? Thank you."
Honestly, like, this has maybe been like one of the most stressful times that I think any of us have ever had in our lifetimes. It's everything compounding on everything. And most of the moments of comedy that I've had are just like simple things throughout the day where I just get to laugh at me. I think the closest
at yourself,
I like, especially at myself, and just like the ridiculous ways my brain behaves. But like, I think somebody once told me when I was like 25 and a baby and just being a big whiny baby about like getting older, that I would like me more, way more, when I get closer to 30. And they were right, because I no longer take myself as seriously. And the older I get, I think it's impossible to do so. So the moments of comedy I find are just like, my brain is dumb and my knees don't work as well as they used to. Like my knees sound like Morse code now, and I can't do anything about it, but that's funny. Time is passing. I'm scared.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Morse code said at work was listening to something else and had show ready to go. Music was loud. Oh, I get what you're saying, Morse code. Yeah. Sorry. You gotta hit that silence so you don't get caught at work listening to the show. Or do and then tell your coworkers about the show. And that's how we grow. Don't forget to like this video. Thanks so much. Going back to questions in the Patreon, Glenn Caesar said, who are your top 3 favorite comedians? Or if it's easier to answer, what are your 3 favorite comedy specials that you recommend watching to make us laugh and lift our spirits and help pass the time? A lot of people looking for comedy clearly today.
A lot of people are looking for comedy. You can't go wrong with John Mulaney. One thing I really love about Mulaney is comedy has always been a weird factor for me and my parents because English is their second language. So a lot of
what
the
is
comedy,
their first?
Spanish.
Both of them?
Yeah. My mom is from Guatemala and my dad is from El Salvador. And they both immigrated here in their 30s. So English is their second language. And so most of the
Guatemala and El Salvador. Wow. And then also, but you also are, did I make up that you're a member of the tribe too?
I am on my dad's side.
And that's El Salvador or that's Guatemala?
On the El Salvador side. Because our family in El Salvador were like Jewish Syrian diaspora. So
wow.
That's why this. That's why this texture.
Damn.
100%.
I didn't get that though. Why? I'm jealous.
I swear to God, the way it trickles down, I just can never figure out who gets what and why.
So does that make you Sephardic?
Mizrahi.
Got it.
Because it's by way of Syria instead of Spain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Wow.
Yeah, and like
the more you know.
And it that one's been an interesting journey because like the history behind it is fascinating. But like both of my parents didn't speak English, so the things that they found funny were mostly slapstick because like most word jokes didn't make sense to them. But Mulaney has this universal quality to where on every level they also get it. And I think it's because he is able to sound smart without sounding superior the way a lot of comics tend to.
He's not like trying to like put somebody else down for not coming up with the same material, or he's just very like everyman-y with that, but also so elevated at the same time.
Yeah, it's really authentic the way it's presented, and it's not overcomplicated for the sake of like, I don't know, trying to make him sound like smarter. And it's accessible. It's like deeply accessible comedy that even my parents can enjoy. So I cannot recommend Mulaney enough. I love Mulaney. God, who's another one that had come up? Oh my God. If you can watch any piece of comedy that she has online, any piece of it, Janelle James is hilarious.
Interesting.
I love Janelle James. Her Twitter feed on its own gets me through the day, but I have consumed every piece of Janelle James comedy. She is so
Where typically
funny.
Is it? Just like YouTube?
I found a couple on ComedyCentral.com, but you can find a lot of it on YouTube. And I cannot recommend her Twitter enough. Janelle James is incredible.
Wow, she just received a new follower. I'm definitely gonna have to do that.
Oh, you're gonna love her.
Good. I need that.
Amazing.
Do you have a third one?
Jessa Reed. Jessa Reed, I first found on, I saw her on This Is Not Happening on Comedy Central. She also has a bunch of amazing podcasts. She is just also one of those people that like has a million stories, but she is devastatingly funny.
It's an interesting phrase.
Yeah, like it's one of those where she's really good at taking, frankly, really, really dark material, and really just like making it hit in an unexpected way. I've ever really seen a performer like her, and I don't think a performer has existed like her, and I can't recommend Jessa Reed enough.
I love that you like had that. I mean, you didn't have it ready to go, but you had that ready to go. You're like, yep, this is my life. Here we go. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Katie Robinson, our favorite Katie. So just so you know, Vanessa, on this show, by the way, every time I call you Vanessa, it sounds weird coming out of my mouth. I never call you that.
Because I'm used to a slew of nicknames.
I know. I just like morph some form of grit all the time. But on this show, So we all know Karen, right? We all know Karen.
Mhm.
But on this show, Katie is the racist Karen. We've just
Oh,
so
okay.
Karen's just basic, but Katie's like the evil version of
The
Karen.
leveled up.
It happened because somebody named Katie came into this chat and started like spewing racist bullshit. And
Ew.
obviously we don't put up with that. So
Mhm.
we just start like anybody who does that is a Katie now. However, one of the people on this show who is a diehard, amazing ally, supporter, friend, just badass chick named Katie. So this is from Katie, but she's Katie the good Katie, not
Okay.
Katie the Karen daughter Katie. So just to clarify for everybody, Katie the good Katie, we should call her Katie the good witch, like
the good
Glinda
witch.
the good witch, said, if you got my DM, I hope it gave you 10 seconds of distraction for the rest of everyone. I didn't get your DM. Where did you send it to me? Let me know, because I try to read all of your guys' DMs. Being a lesbian who left a cult is hard, okay? I'll say what I said there. Whoever comes for you, I'm coming for them. You've got a whole army of us on your side. Katie the good witch, obsessed with you in all the ways.
Love her.
Yeah, just love her. That's what I'm saying. I feel bad that our Karen, evil Karen, is named Katie because Katie's so good. But yeah, Katie knows I've been going through a fucking hard time. I don't know that it's as hard as time though as being a lesbian who leaves a cult. So perspective is always a very
That's
nice
layers
thing.
of bad.
That's layers of fucked. So Katie,
Yeah.
I am glad you support me. I'll always support you, and the
Yeah.
rock stars are with you. Oh, speaking of which, guys, I did want to mention this also while we have a second. Another one of our rock stars who you guys know is a moderator in here, and has been an OG rock star. I'm obsessed with her. Brandy, you guys all love her too. You know, her father passed away on Father's Day, which is just like, I mean, there's talk about layers of fuck this, fuck that.
Yeah.
And we have helped raise Brandy in her GoFundMe, which I just put in the chat again. She's currently at, I think, 2,871 of the $10,000 she's trying to raise for his funeral. I've told you guys before, as somebody who's had to bury a parent, it is so fucking expensive. And the last thing you want to be thinking about during this time is how fucking expensive it is. Like coffins alone, the actual plot, making sure that you can feed your mom during that time, like all the things that Brandy's trying to do. So please go support her if you can. I just put the GoFundMe in there. She's been amazing to all of us. She sat here and listened to everybody and given advice and feedback, and gotten on the phone with people, and is just such a good human and soul. So please, if you can help, I know that I'll be doing everything I can to help her, and I know that you guys are too. When she put this out, she was at $600. The rock stars have helped her get to $2,800. So let's keep going,
So
guys. It is fucking awesome. And Grit, like I'm telling you, this girl is like an angel on earth. She's incredible, and she's supporting her family right now. And she was working at a laundromat and worked at the laundromat all through COVID, and still was taking care of her dad, who is very, very ill, and is just like, she's incredible. So go support if you can. And I put the link in. So please go support. And if you do support, let me know, and I will give you a shout out on the show. Not that that's the only incentive, but whatever. Just want to show love back
Makes
to you
day
guys.
better.
Exactly. Okay, going back to you guys in the Patreon. Okay, so we have another. I have to explain all of the people in here.
Yay.
Okay,
I love meeting them all.
Yeah. So Weston Ira is incredible. Some of his questions are challenging to decipher, so we will get through it together. But
Awesome.
let's see what Weston has to say today. He says, this is a good day for hashtag Grixie. So that's our ship name, obviously.
I love it.
Yep, great. So Vanessa, aside from supporting Roxy with ... whatever has been de-Roxying her and your other amazing work, what do you and Roxy think of this headline, courtesy of USA Today? Extraction producer David Gilloyd charged with 11 sex crime counts in Santa Barbara County. I think that's the end of the headline. I don't know if you're going to have things resolved by time I catch this stream afterwards, but I hope band supports you. Okay, so I don't even know anything about this headline, but obviously, what do I think of it? If that's a real headline that you just posted, I think that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
What is there to think of it?
It's disgusting and also like horrifically commonplace.
Yes.
I think in our industry, it's terrifying how not shocking every one of those headlines become, because they're in our feeds every day, and there's so many cases of people being like, "We all said it. No one listened until it's a headline."
Gritty, every day on this show this week, every single day, there's been a new one. I mean, between Justin Bieber, Ansel Elgort, Joey Diaz, Joey Ryan, Matheson, whatever his name is from that 70s show.
Danny Masterson.
For
like years was one.
Years and years. Who was the guy with the four counts of the porn star, whatever his name
Ron
is,
Jeremy.
So every day, and I'm having even a hard time remember people's fucking names, because that's how many this week alone, those are the names that we have discussed on this show. So what do I think of the headline? None of us are surprised anymore. All of us are disgusted. And I was listening to a chat between Regina King and Reese Witherspoon when they were doing an Actors on Actors, at the variety series where the actors are talking to each other now.
Yeah, I love those.
It's pretty great, but they both said like we are just trying to leave this industry better than we found it. That's what our generation of women are trying to do. And they are doing that for us, and it's on Gritty and myself and everybody else in our generation to work our asses off to leave the industry better than we fucking found it.
Yeah.
And really, really it's on the fucking dickheads and horrible pieces of shit. But that's why we need to be speaking out, not putting up with things, like doing the best that we can to protect each other, not sending other women into the line of fire when you know that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So every headline I read, I just feel more and more motivated to do better and make sure that I hold people accountable for things. How are you feeling, Gritty?
It's one of those things where I have fully realized at this point in my life that everything good that has ever happened in my career has been because of other women trying to do the same thing. Like, everyone that has protected me, kept me safe, warned me, gotten me away from bad situations in the entertainment industry have been other women. Like, I remember I was like, for a while during quarantine, I was like making a bunch of resumes for people, because like, especially women of color, like nobody gives us the opportunity or the ability to like spruce up a resume the way some other people just like have connections to do that. And somebody was
is
like,
that a skill set of yours, Gritty? Like, are you good resume?
I am. Awesome. I love building a good resume, because a lot of people have incredible credits, but they haven't had people telling them how good they are. Like, a lot of the women that I was looking at, they were like, "Oh yeah, I don't really have a lot of work under my belt," and I like set these things up, and I'm like, "You do. You just haven't been taught how to like sell yourself when you're pitching like your skills and your abilities. You've been told to be modest when you should be screaming how great you are." And somebody was like, where did you learn this? And I realized every single good skill I learned was from other female producers that would take me under their wing, and they didn't want me to go through what they went through and wanted life for me to be a little bit better and would prepare me for that. Like, I remember I was an assistant to these two producers. It's adorable. They were best friends and their names rhymed. It was Carrie and Terry. And
I'm so obsessed with Carrie and Terry.
I love Carrie and Terry. I can't speak highly of them enough. They still like keep in touch with me, and they would take me with them to pitch meetings, and they would like show me how to like type business emails and how to like conduct myself fearlessly and how to like talk to other people in the industry and like set these firm, tight boundaries for myself. And I remember on the last day of working for them, they both like sat me down in their offices with a scotch and like gave me a piece of advice. And they both were just like, don't ever let anybody fuck with you or treat you like you're worth less than what you know you are. And it was because of them. I had men in the industry telling me that I was lesser or not funny or not talented. And I now know that was just like intimidation tactics.
To keep you down.
And I had these women like boosting me up and telling me it was possible and giving me the resources and the opportunities that was denied to me.
You know, I love hearing that because frankly, I have had some similar experiences, but I've had a lot of opposite experiences of that. Because I have had some incredible female mentors who really, really were there for the cause and down for me. And then I've also experienced the opposite of that because, and the reason that I think that is because they've been so beaten down by the system and so fucked with that they are left without love to give and support to give. And so I have a hard time even blaming them because there's so many things that go into this. Like being a woman in this industry is tough a fucking enough. I have no idea what it's like being a woman of color in this industry. I know how challenging it is to be a white woman in this industry, and I don't have it as bad as so many of my friends. And so I can't even imagine what some of the people who have spewed such hatred towards me and have come after me and put me in positions that were incredibly unsafe for me. I do try not to resent them because I'm sure that was a learned behavior based on how they were treated.
They're told it's the only way to win. They're like, the only way to play, the only way to win is to like knock someone down and take their place. And they think it's the only way to exist. And unfortunately for a lot of them, it was proven true. Like it was proven true to them that that's like there can only be one. So you have to knock someone else down. And it's unfortunate because like it was a system that was created for basically just like one type of woman to get out on shows, like one type. It's why it's so shocking to like see two women of color on one show. It's why it's shocking to see like all female panels on anything, because we've been told we all have to fight for the token spot.
Right. Yeah. How fucked up is that? Like, like just taking 1 second to be like, you and I both know that to be fact right now. Like that is what has happened. That's so fucked up.
Yeah. And it's why it's so bizarre when we end up on like all female panels and stuff like that, where we just like take a second and we're like, whoa, how did this happen?
I know. Like very often if I would turn over on Screen Junkies and you would be to my left and Fife would be to my right, I was like, that's fucking cool.
Like, I remember
that's fucking cool.
Like one of the last episodes I did before like all this COVID stuff, it was like you, me, Emma Fife, and Danielle Radford, and I was like, "What the fuck?" It's all four of us.
I know. I will say that I attribute a lot of that to Joe Starr, and I don't know that he gets the behind the scene credit that he deserves on that because I feel like he is such a advocate and very quiet about it and doesn't make big announcements like, by the way, guys, we're going to have an all 4 women panel today. He just kind of does it.
He just does it.
And I really believe that is, I know that right now, especially the word allyship is typically equated with BLM. But I'm talking, when I say ally, I mean to women. I feel like he is such an ally to actually so many communities, but he just has been able to do that. And I'm so grateful for his ability to do that without being braggadocious about it, without being
it's not performative.
It's just like this. It's not a second thought for him. He's just like, oh, who are the best people for this job? Oh, it's Danielle, it's Grit, it's Fife, and it's Rox. Well, then those are the 4 people on the panel. Period.
And those are honestly some of the only opportunities I've had where I've like looked to my left and right and like it's like diverse panels of women. And anytime somebody's like, what can I do? I'm like, that fill seats with diverse panels, fill seats with like what you want to see instead of saying that you want to see it.
Because we're out there. So it's not like we don't exist. So it's easy to get to us because we want work. Like
we like it. We like working.
Yeah. We not only like it, actually need it. Here for hire. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. How is work going for you during COVID, by the way? I know that you are working, but what is right now? Are you finding that you're able to book a ton? What's going on with El Rey?
So work has been real bizarre at the beginning part of COVID because like I had just started working on like a few different like shows and working as like freelancing for certain publications, and then everything halted for a bit. And it's weird. It went from like nothing for pretty much the entirety of COVID, where I was like just doing some freelance stuff here and there, to like specifically the last month, it's when remote stuff is starting to pop up again. And I feel like it's just because the industry is realizing like there is no back to normal for the time being. So remote things are starting to open up again. But I think it also was because I hit a certain point where I was like, I don't know how much work is going to exist for me for right now. So I want to start doing projects that are just for me. Not even like, they're things that I think I'll release at some point. But I started just writing a bunch of like short horror stories, short stories.
No way.
Were just things that I wanted to write. I didn't release them anywhere. I don't know. I love storytelling because I love that writing. First of all, that writing is something that you can do even if you didn't go to school for it. That if it's just something that if you love enough and practice enough, anybody can enter it from any like point in like class or background. But that you can like take someone somewhere else for a little bit. And so I'll eventually release them, but that's something that I did for a while. And El Rey.
You guys have like a bunch of episodes in the can, right?
So last year we taped 100 episodes. Which
that is the most
insane.
Casual statement I've ever heard. Okay.
It feels insane. Because like at the time I was like, yeah, we'll just like knock out 6 episodes a week. And then like on episode 100, it took me a second before I was like, that is 100 episodes of television. And they aired the other 50 last year. And then as of last week on Wednesday nights, they've started airing the next 50 again. So I went from like not being on TV for a bit to like all of a sudden I'm present again. And then people remember that I exist. So now bookings are starting to happen again, which is wild.
Pausing for 1 second to say you are so good at what you do, and I'm so fucking happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Because it is true, out of sight, out of mind. So the fact that you are on TV right now and people are able to see you, please let everybody see you, and please let everybody take that as, you know, when people are like, I'm just looking for a sign on who to hire. That's the fucking sign. You found the person. That's your sign. But I'm really happy to hear that.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, actually, like, I think it's that thing that I was talking about earlier, where we're all taught to like not be excited about stuff that happens to us and like play down stuff. So sometimes it just takes a friend being like, no, that's cool, to
for sure. Like you don't want to not be humble, and you don't want to be bragging to whatever it is, but like, so let me brag. You should start sending me text messages when you book things so I can brag for you. I want to blast that shit out. Speaking again of Joe Starr, who fucking does that all the time. Anytime any of us book anything, he blasts that out. And
anytime
also
I book on anything,
insane, and also blasted out Brandy's GoFundMe too, because she's my moderator. Like, just sorry, still back on you. Go ahead, babe.
Well, it's another thing. It's like that promotion thing where it's like other people won't do that for us. So it's up to each other to like signal boost our work and like our people, because like no one else is going to do it for us. So it's like you or Joe or like Danielle or Emma, or like it's all of us essentially like trying to like give each other the push with what we have, because other people won't do it for us.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a lot of dudes who've been doing that for themselves for years. So, definitely time. Well, I'm glad to hear work's going well. I'm glad to hear you're on TV and then you're on people's radar, which is very important. We have a few more Streamlabs coming in that I want to get to.
Yay.
Let's see this one from Glenn, who said, hello, Roxy and Vanessa. Happy Thursday. I'm glad to see Roxy and Vanessa together again. Love you two and SJU together. As always, more collabs from you two, please. Love you both. Really looking forward to hearing the rest of today's show. Glad to have Vanessa in the Rockstars band. Glenn's so sweet.
That's
Thanks,
so
Glenn.
sweet.
Appreciate it. Samir says, hey, ladies, your old pal Freddie's here, and it's time for a musical break. Here we go. What? That was the whole comment.
Old pal Freddie. I feel like this should immediately follow with some kind of DIY Freddy Krueger rap.
Yeah. My name is Freddie, and I'm here to spook you all because it's crazy how scary I am. That's my rap. No, there was no rhyme.
I loved
to
every
it.
second of it.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for that, Samir. Chris Martinez says, hey, Roxy and Vanessa, do you have any thoughts on Jenny Slate leaving the show Big Mouth? I personally think it's the right move. Thanks. I did want to talk about this today because not only did Jenny Slate exit Big Mouth, but we also saw that Kristen Bell exited what is the new show?
Central Park.
Yeah, Central Park. Because she was playing voicing a mixed character as well. What do you think about this, Grit?
So it's definitely one of those like about time thoughts that I've had. Because ever since I was a little kid, voice actors were my gods. And it's something that I've seen in recent conversation as well when BoJack Horseman was on, and how Diane, who is this half Asian character, was voiced by Alison Brie. And even outside of voice acting, you've seen that covered where like someone that is white will like play someone biracial, and it's usually like an actor who does not have trouble getting work anyway. And if you think about how many cartoons we watched when we were kids and how we only had like 5 voice actors that were either predominantly Black or voice actors of color. And a lot of people always want to bring up the argument that it's like, oh, you don't have to look like your characters. And it's like, okay, but if you look at the industry, it is a predominantly white industry.
Yeah, that would be fine if more than 50% of the characters were people of color.
And
but they're not. So
they're not.
Yeah. Or if there were a ton of voice actors that were Black, Latinx, whatever, voicing white characters, but there's also not a ton of that.
There's not a ton of that. Like, if you look at all of the cartoons when we were kids, like, Phil Lamar and Cree Summer were everyone. they were everyone. We had 2 the entire time. And, like, even now, it's so rare when you see someone be able to break into the scene. And while I love a lot of the voice actors I grew up with, and a lot of people are always just like they always want to bring up that it's just kind of like, oh, you shouldn't have to like play what you are, but it's like the industry is already so disproportionate. It's already so disproportionate. It's impossible to get in if you are Black or a person of color.
But I wanted to ask you this question, Grit, because I feel like you'll have the perfect and unique perspective on this. I thought it was interesting that when Jenny Slate was talking about playing Missy, she had said that the reason she had initially thought it was okay is because Missy is mixed and her mom is Jewish and Jenny is Jewish. And this is not something that I feel like is often talked about, that there's, I would say, and this isn't a real number, guys, but this is what I think 90% of the time that Jewish actors are cast, or Jewish characters are cast and Jewish voices are played, it's not played by Jews. And obviously that's very different than being a person of color. But I want to know your thoughts on that, her justifying it with that. And what do you think about, should we have only Jews be playing Jews? Do we need to, for a character who is Black and Jewish, find an actor that is Black and Jewish?
Well, in terms of like, they're actually like especially with the Jenny Slate thing happening, I'm watching a lot of these like voice actresses that are like, I'm Black and Jewish and I know that background and I'm really familiar with like balancing these 2 voices and these 2 worlds. And it's one of those things where it's an opportunity to like really open up these interesting backgrounds and perspectives of voice actors that we haven't had an opportunity to work with before. But I love that you brought up the Jewish thing specifically because I notice a lot of voice actors that play Jewish characters that aren't Jewish basically do it as like an entryway to do like Jewish voice.
New York Jew, which is apparently what Jew is. The
only kind, apparently.
It's like whiny, and that everybody who does Jewish does it like this, which is like, you know what Jews sound like? You know what Jews sound like? Me. That's like
we're on a big spectrum.
It's like a lot of different voices that you like. Jew doesn't actually like come with an accent,
but they always do the same like deep New York like Hasidic nagging mom. They always do the same thing, and I feel like it's basically like a safe way for actors to still do that bit without being called out on it. I actually think that's why I love the Jessie character on the show so much, because she's like the only one that wasn't given that treatment.
Yeah.
She just sounds like someone. She just sounds like someone that could exist on the huge spectrum of what Jewish people are. And like, I've been sitting here trying to like think of like, all right, well, one of them has to be, and I'm like, no, wait, that one's Catholic. I know. I can't really think of like characters that exist beyond that spectrum.
Even like, I was talking to my friend Steph Sabra the other day, and I was trying to come up with like very iconic Jewish characters, not even VO, but like being played by, and even Rachel Brosnahan, who I thought was Jewish, is not. She's not Jewish.
Okay, that one actually like legit surprised me. She's not?
Yeah. But it says like she is very familiar with the Jewish culture, which like I don't really know what that means. Like, okay.
Okay.
But no, she's not. So it's not even just voices. And again, I'm having a hard time with right now. It's really not a Jew's time. It's not a Jew's time to fight right now. Like, as I'm 1000%. Do you know what I mean at all? Like, I'm 1000%. The world can only focus on so many things at once, and right now we need all the focus to be on fucking BLM until we can get every person on the planet to agree that Black Lives Matter, which should be the easiest fucking mission of all time. I can't just keep throwing in like, but what about me and the Jews? You know, it's just not the fucking time to do that. I just think it's interesting when we're talking about VO and Jenny Slate. Like, I really do hope that they find for Missy a Black Jew. There's tons of them.
There's so many. There's actually, I think it was an artist, and I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe his name was Kehinde Wiley, where he did a series on Black Jews living in Africa. And it was one of the most beautiful art series I've ever seen, but it was just like also another thing that like pointed to, it's similar to like with Latinos, how many people do not realize the spectrum of color that exists for something because Hollywood only shows you one. Like, people don't know that there are Black Jews and Black Latinos because you only see one kind.
Yep. And and they all speak like this.
They all have the same voice and they all have the same type.
Yep. Well, there's tons more going on, and I know we only have you for a few more minutes, so I want to get to some of these things. Let's look in here. Lamont Small said, depending on the current situation, when do you think movie theaters will reopen? Before the end of the year? New York has delayed cinema reopenings. So we had heard July 15th. Now, with Disney theme parks being moved, people are talking about Mulan possibly being moved. It seems like Tenet is not going to get moved, though, so I don't know. I feel like that July 15th date might stick. What do you think, Grit?
I feel like, unfortunately, for
that breath.
I feel like, unfortunately, for many movie theaters in many states, the July 15th thing might stick, and I do not recommend it, especially for the state of California, because Los Angeles, we're spiking.
For sure.
But like, it's one of those things where movie theaters also predominantly make so much of their money on concessions, and you cannot enjoy concessions with a mask on, and it's just another layer of contamination. And again, having worked at a movie theater, they mostly hire teenagers will never adhere to a safety protocol. Take
like,
it from a 15-year-old that had to try and sanitize things. We never adhere to safety protocol.
I know. And like so many of my friends worked at movie theaters, and I'm sorry, but like half of them were fucking in the bathrooms. Like, and because that's what you do when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
And it's not your fault. You're a teenager. You don't understand. But like,
Yeah.
that's what you're doing. You're like, you're taking popcorn with your hand and you're eating it. And when you're supposed to sweep the floors and then wipe, you're just kind of half-assing, making sure nothing's there.
Under the other seats.
And you're flirting with your coworkers and you're going like, it's just what it means to be a teenager.
It shouldn't be on them to like uphold that or figure out how they're going to like keep things sanitary. It
keep
should
people
just
alive.
not be an option. Just keep people alive.
Like 100%. I'm with you. I really hope that doesn't happen. Jake Yacovetta in here was kind of filling us in on the David Gilloyd situation that we were talking about a little earlier. He says the Hollywood exec behind films such as Extraction and Atomic Blonde has been under criminal investigation for years and was charged on Monday with 11 sex crimes, including rape, kidnapping to commit rape, and rape of a drugged victim. Good for you, David. Really
Hollywood.
Look, you're so original, right? You know, that will go down in the book. What sucks for David is I did not know his name before, and I guarantee you I will not fucking remember his name in years. Like, you do not matter. You are a minuscule little fucking ant, and you ruined people's lives, and you fucking suck. Like, to put it elegantly.
It's one of those things where anytime people see the monsters in public, they don't realize like the number of women that are like creative and talented and great that are no longer working because they were intimidated out of the industry. Like I don't do stand-up as much anymore, but like the sheer amount of stand-ups that I have met that were like brilliant and talented, and if only they had just the chance to be able to like work in an environment where they could like go to their job and try and work on their craft without some fucking goober following them around afterwards. Like, for every one of these nightmare dudes, there are dozens, dare I even say hundreds of women that are not working at a job they would have been amazing at because they were intimidated out of it.
Yes. So true. So true. Ugh. Fuck this dude. For again, lack of better words, but like, I hope you.
Those are the right words.
I hope you never. I for sure hope you never work again. I hope you go behind bars. And I've said this before on the show, and I'll say it again. I hope we chop off your penis. Yep. That should be the legitimate fucking answer for if you use it in a way that you took away the choice from somebody else, you should not have the choice to be able to use it again. And it should be fucking chopped off. And I understand that's not the way our society works. I legitimately mean that, though. That is something I legitimately mean. If you use your hands in ways you shouldn't use your hands, they should be fucking chopped off. And if you use your penis in a way you shouldn't use it, it should be fucking chopped off. Those are just some Roxy thoughts for you.
Roxy thoughts for today.
Going on a completely different topic, Mr. Caesar he has food related questions for you. He always has food related questions. So these are 4 kind of rapid fire ones. Do you have a guilty pleasure food?
Yeah, it's any kind of breakfast sandwich with a ton of jelly in it.
Oh my God.
I know.
Why so much? Why jelly in the? All right, well, to each their own.
When I was a kid and I'd go to Denny's, I'd get like a Moons Over My Hammy and just cover it in grape jelly. And then I realized it's basically just because I love the McGriddle. I like anything that's just like sweet and savory. So now I like make breakfast sandwiches and just fill that thing with like fruit preserves or jelly. And it's my favorite guilty pleasure. I will make it any time of the day.
I love that. The next one's favorite breakfast food. So I'm going to assume same thing.
Waffle.
Okay. Favorite movie theater snack?
Ooh. I'm going to say gummy bears, specifically Haribo. Like, no one does it like a Haribo gummy.
Chocolate covered or no?
Just on their own. I like chocolate, but I'm like one of those boring dark chocolate people.
Oh, interesting.
I
do like dark chocolate. Wait, can I say something that I've never said out loud before, but I'm going to say it now. I don't think I have. Why do I make the H silent and call it Haribo? Is that wrong? It's Haribo?
I mean, when I heard the jingle, I heard Haribo.
I don't know.
wonder if it's like a Hardy's. I wonder if it's like a Hardy's Carl's Jr. thing.
Like I straight up always call them Eribo or Eribo or whatever. I'm trying to make it fancier than it is apparently. And then the last part of this was favorite dessert.
Favorite dessert. I love so many sweet things. Okay.
Me too.
I'm gonna go with anything pie. I'm a big pie person. I love a super crunchy crust and a fruit filling. Probably like peach pie.
That's what she said. I don't know why
That's
though.
what she said. I'm filled with fruit.
Okay, I love that. Another question coming in. Gingerbread says, "Hey Rox, hope you're well. You're looking super tan." Thank you. Vanessa, you're gorgeous. I bet your Animal Crossing character would be super cute too. Okay. What kind of music are you into, Vanessa? Would Roxy's dad approve? And of course, what's your zodiac sign? So my dad's a rock and roll person. So zodiac sign and what music you're into.
Man, I can't even think of music that I'm not. I love music. Like lately for whenever I work, I listen to like a lot of synthy music soundtracks. So like I'll listen to the It Follows soundtrack or I'll listen to the Guest soundtrack, and that's when I'm working. But like I love outlaw country. I really, really love hip hop, especially modern hip hop. I love rock and roll. One of my favorite memories is when I went to New Orleans with my boyfriend and we just like loaded the jukebox with $20 and basically just bought like 3 hours of music. And I learned how much I love Depeche Mode and how much he loves Rush. And
excellent choices.
Now I also love Rush. Music is one of those things I am not that picky on. I can't really think of it. I mean, anything that's just like, Christ is Lord, maybe not for me. But yeah, as of lately, a lot of synth, a lot of outlaw country, a lot of hip hop, and a lot of classic rock.
I love all of those answers. One more question from Glenn or comment. Thanks for giving us a great show today, Roxy and Vanessa. 2 thumbs up. Y'all are the best. Keep killing it. Roxy, I think you should have Vanessa back again for sure. She's totally a rock star. By the way, Vanessa, the blue hair is awesome.
Thank you.
Befitting of a rock star. That's true. It's very, you do have rock star hair. And I do agree that you should come back and are welcome back literally anytime you want.
I would love that.
You're always welcome here. I think you are the greatest. I actually was not feeling great this week. You guys know I'm still not doing so well, but today I was like, I have Vanessa to talk to. Like that will be easy in terms of she's just great. And I feel like I could talk to you about anything. So Gritty, thank you for always making me so comfortable.
Thank you for always making me comfortable. I love seeing you.
The best. You're the absolute best. And guys, cheers to a future in which Gritty and I are both back on SJU.
Yes.
Rooting for that whenever that takes place. I'm sure Joe's doing everything he can for that right now. But Gritty, in the meantime, until you come back on the show, where can they find you? All the things you're working on. The rock stars legitimately love supporting people. So please let them know where they can support you.
I'm on @Vanessa on all forms of social media. Also coming soon, I just saved the social medias for it under @KickScreamPod. But I'm starting a podcast that is solely not for any reason other than it's just something that I want to do. It's called Kicking and Screaming, and my boyfriend and I basically like put together double features of horror and kung fu movies, so you can have like the experience of a drive-in theater at home. And I'm on Ellery Nation every Wednesday night. And for those in the chat, because I forgot earlier, I'm a Pisces because I like to cry and kiss all the time.
Yeah. Oh my God, they were not going to let us forget it. Every person here, Zodiac. You are a Pisces. What's the date?
February 20th.
February 20th. I feel like that's when Pisces. That's right when it starts.
I think it's like right on the cusp of when it starts. I know Rihanna and Kurt Cobain are also February 20th babies. So we're like big time criers and kissers.
Damn, who doesn't love a crier kisser? That's what everybody wants in life. Another one coming in, and then we are going to have to get out of here. Samir says, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7-8, better stay up late. 9-10, never sleep again. Well,
I love you, Samir.
on that lovely last note, and that was much better than my rap or whatever you would call whatever it is I did. Lots of love to you guys. Please don't forget to go support Brandy. She needs your guys' help. She needs your financial help for the funeral fund, but also she could probably just use your support. You guys on Twitter. I tweeted at her, so you can go look at the tweet and just tag her and make sure that you're sending love, because everybody needs love during this time, but she especially does. I will be back tomorrow at 2:30 live at the Roxy. We've got some cool guests lined up for this week, but I'll keep you guys posted on all of that on the socials. One more time for Vanessa Gritton. Everybody, round of applause at home.
Thank you so
Gritty.
much.
Thank you for being here. Love you.
Roxy.
Love you guys at home, and I will see you tomorrow live at the Roxy.
Bye.